Hey Vanguardians, this is Jordan bringing you a video on me eating a corn dog smothered in mustard. No, I'm just kidding. It's my video on my Q&A that I asked a few hours ago. And after a lot of questions, which I really appreciate everyone asking me questions, whether they have been trolly or not. I'm going to answer every single question that I see. And I have it pulled up right in front of me, so I'm just going to, go down every single question and then explain my answer, and we'll go from there. Also, if you're curious, my shirt is really badass. I got it a couple days ago, and yeah, it says, "Do you even train at 100 times Earth's gravity, bro?" It's pretty legit. I love Dragon Ball Z. Anyway, alright. Straight to the questions. So, this first question is from Edmund Liu, and it says, if Vanguard was a guy, would he be gay? Now, immediately following that, Jonathan replied saying, yes, it would be. And I have to agree. If Vanguard was a guy, it would be gay. That's the reason why it shouldn't be. So, yeah. Alright, next question is from Tai Young. He asked, what do you think about evolution of the Narukami clan, and do you think Link Jokers will get any support after this set? So, for the Narukami clan, that besides Kagero, Narukami was my first clan that I ever played when I first joined this game. Like the first deck that I legitimately played competitively. My first actual deck was actually Gold Paladins, but I kind of dumped that aside for Narukami and Kagero because they fit my playstyle better. For the evolution, going from Thunderbreak Vermilion and Breakthrough in Vermilion, and then Vermilion and Vermilion the Blood, just being decent decks that have topped in several places. A lot of people didn't like the decks, but personally I think they were really good, especially during the time of the Blood. Even though it wasn't very long, it was still a really good deck because the players who played just right, they would use the effect as a kill, which at the time a lot of people were afraid of, so they'd try to play against it, and it worked to their disadvantage or advantage, which is why it made the deck so good. Now with Eradicators, as it evolved into Eradicators, the deck got more gimmicky, so it got to the point where it's not like Kagero, because it focused on the front row retiring and then gaining pluses off of it. So like Gauntlet Buster and Sweep Command. Sweep Command was a good card when it first came out. Like the deck, when it first came out, that's what you had. You had Sweep Command, the Break Ride, and whatever else you can throw together to make it good. And in some instances, it was really good. You Superior Ride after using like not Linshu, but Cho-Oh. You would Superior Ride using the starter to Superior Break Ride for a combo, and it'd be really good because you'd plus, and you get the Break Ride, and you retire 2 unit. You would retire 2 units. So, for pretty much for plus 10,000. So, and the only cost would be sliding one of your own cards into the soul, and then the starter. So after that, Gauntlet Buster came out, and Descendant came out, and Descendant, as feared as he was in Japan, just when it came out, it was okay, and then it just went flat. Like, it didn't even last. Like, the focus completely shifted to Gauntlet Buster. He was like the main focus of the deck in America, because of the fact that it got the plus 3,000 in the crit when a unit was retired, and since Eradicators had so much support for that, you can pretty much like plus 3000 crit your opponent every turn once you're at limit break. You don't even have to use its own effect. Descendant was like a finisher card where you'd run like 2 of, and you'd be like that final push where, you know, if you didn't want to ride Gauntlet Buster, you'd break right into Descendant and finish off your opponent by restanding and, you know, fucking hitting a bunch of triggers, and your opponent just be like, what the fuck. Now, from Eradicators into Brawlers, that's when I feel that now that they're Brawlers, Narukami is finally doing what it originally wanted to do with Vermilion, but still have the advantages of Eradicators and getting the pluses from retiring units from skills. So with Big Bang Dragon and Big Bang Buster, especially Big Bang Buster, giving its rear guards, you know, slash Dragon and slash Buster, those pluses from its own, you know, Legion skills, getting those huge rows is just terrifying. And a lot of people are like complaining like, oh, it says all in one attack, but if you read the grade 2 skills, they say on hit. When a unit is hit, regardless of how many is hit, at the exact same time, those effects stack upon each other, and then they are resolved one after another immediately. There is no interruptions unless there is another skill coming from the same card. Once the card effects have stacked and you go to resolve them, they are immediately resolved one after another without interruptions. So the same thing was applied with back in the day with Vermilion and the on hit discard and draw, the Airmo clone for Narukami. That same thing happened then, but it was resolved much easier because a lot of people are more understanding. Because if you'd Vermilion and hit 3 units, you'd get to discard and drop a card 3 times because you hit 3 units. Doesn't matter if it's all in one attack, doesn't matter if it's all at once, you hit 3 units. So you stacked 3 units abilities, and then you resolve them one after each other immediately. So for anyone that was, you know, argues the fact that that's not true, or, you know, I use a certain source where, like, rulings, if I don't think a ruling's right, I go to a judge. Otherwise, I will go on the Wikipedia, and I don't care what anybody says about that. Majority of the time, 99% of the time, the rulings on there are rulings that the admins of the Wikipedia have personally asked Bushiroad about, and then they posted the rulings on there. So yes, when you use Big Bang Buster's effect and you hit 4 units in one attack and they're all retired, when all of those units are hit and they're sent to the drop zone, all of your units slash Dragon slash Buster, the grade 1, they all get the power boosts and they stack, so they get them multiple times depending on how many units are retired. And now, you know, what happens after that for Narukami, we'll wait and see, because right now they haven't gotten to it yet in the new generation sets. So as of right now, we have Brawlers, and they're really good. Really cheap deck, really good. I was thinking about playing it myself, but I decided to play Link Joker, which brings me to the next part of the question. Link Joker is in fact getting more support after BT17 for us, because it's already been announced in, I think it's the Generation either 2 or 3, Link Joker is getting support in them. We don't know if it's the leaders, we don't know if it's Star Raiders, we don't even know if it's something new, but they are getting support. So I'm kind of glad my clan's getting support, but, you know, just gotta wait and see. But it has been confirmed. If you go look onto the generation sets on the Wikipedia or whatever, and you look up what's going to be in the sets, one of them says that Link Joker is in them. Alright, next question is, if Bushiroad from Edmund Liu again, if Bushiroad decided to make a grade 5, how much power would it have? Would it be broken? Would it be stride? Or be the evolution of stride? Trident? Another question, If you could, would you want to extend the amount of damage to win a game? So, making the possibility of a grade 5 is, in my opinion, highly unlikely. So, I think Stride is extremely dangerous on its own. They would have to come up with a different, mechanic. But being grade 4, making all grade 4s as Strides, after the whole Novell thing, I think was the best idea they've come up with for this engineer, because Novell was fucking stupid when it first came out, in here and in Japan. The deck was dumb. I hated it. I hated playing against it. I'm a Kagero fan, but I wanted to shoot myself in the fucking foot every time I saw a Novell deck. I really did. Because the deck is straight up autopilot, no skill. You just sit there and laugh as your opponent fucking died to Novell's effects. It's dumb. So with Stride in the grade 4s, I think that was a good idea for them to make the grade 4s that are all powerful Stride units. So you could still use them, they would only be there for that one turn, but you would have to sacrifice a card from your hand that's grade 3, or number of cards that equal grade 3 in order to Stride. And then, you get effects from if you Stride on top of a card that has effect when you Stride on top of it, or, a Generation Break where you have certain number of G units face up in the G zone. So, I like where that's went. I like how it has potential. So we'll see where it goes from here. As of right now, I'm a little disappointed in the anime, but it's kind of like a baby right now, where they're starting something new, and then it's not going to get good until they understand and what they're doing. I mean, they went into it, they understand what they're doing, but now they're going to understand it even more from the criticisms of the fans, and the progress in Japan. They're going to understand what they need to do next. As for the extent of amount of damage to lose and win in a game, honestly, 6 is perfect. I've tested it before with some friends in not only like single fights but in tag fights where the life was extended to like 8 or 11, and the game literally takes like 15 minutes more, and the possibility of decking out is extremely higher. Now with Legion, it might be less, but it's still more time consuming because you still have to deal more damage. Whereas when you hit 4 damage, the pace of the game suddenly increases, and then the game gets faster and it'll end faster. So you get to enjoy the game, but a game, the 30 to 40 minutes of a game, sometimes even 20 minutes, and it's Swiss, like best 2 out of 3, that's enough time. It really is. You don't need to be spending an hour playing a match, because it's too long. And even in Magic the Gathering, like, matches are usually, unless they're like control decks, they only last 45 to 50 minutes. And they try not to go into overtime. Sometimes that hard with control decks, but their time limits are 45 minutes in tournaments. I've been to a few. I played Magic. I went to Northwest. When I was playing Black-Red, Black-Red aggro with Hellrider, I was a faster deck, but I came across, control decks, and it was really hard to fight against them, and sometimes I went into time, and it was annoying. Then I played American Control, and I finally got that taste of being in control of my opponent, and how satisfying it is, just to wait it out and let them, make the mistake, and then just throw it in their face. But anyway, going back to the questions. The next one is from our lovely admin, the butler, Jonathan S.P. Minham. He asked me, what do I think of him? You are an amazing person. I don't know you very well. You are the butler, you are one of the admins, and you're a very nice guy. Unfortunately, you're a Pats fan, and I'm a Hawks fan, so we have some issues there. As we already know, because you posted on one of my pictures when I was wearing my Marshall Lynch jersey. So good luck to your team, but my team's winning. I'm sorry. And so next question is what are my thoughts on the stride in English meta? Honestly, it's with stride and G assist. I'm expecting a lot less bitching and a lot more people enjoying the game. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that, people won't like straight up use stride. But I've seen matches in Japan with stride and they can go really fast. Because, the moment someone hits grade 3, they stride, next turn they stride, next turn they stride, and they just keep striding, trying to finish out their opponent with the stride unit. They don't even actually use the deck that they're using. They just try to stride, and I hope to God that does not happen here. I hope that people will stride as a finisher, or get the pluses from it, not do it every turn. Yeah, that's part of the main point of stride, but I'd also like to see the decks that they use with the stride to actually have, to still be viable. Do I plan on participating in Team League? If I have the time and if I find a team. I live in the same vicinity as Neil, so I live in Everett, he lives in Shoreline. I do have friends that live in Tacoma, so it's a possibility that I might go to Team Fight if there is a tournament that is not in fucking Vancouver, Washington. If there is one here in Washington, I will go. I will make the time to go. I will put in days off at work and I will go. But if it's in Vancouver, it's going to be really hard for me to go because I really don't want to spend money on, an enhanced license or whatever to get across the border via vehicle. So it's a possibility. As for Worlds this year, I have a family, I have a kid, and my fiance doesn't really like card games, so I only do it as a hobby. If I were to go to Worlds again for a third time, like I said, there would have to be a tournament here in Washington. The last 2 times I went to Worlds, I participated in both qualifiers here in Washington, and I went on a road trip with my friends to California. So, I mean, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time, So, we'll see, depending on whether or not we have tournaments up here in Washington. I hope so. I hope they don't make the same mistake of constantly fucking making, a few tournaments in certain vicinities and then just doing that. I hope that they go back to when they had, a couple of shop tournaments to qualify. That's a little bit better. Or, where they did, they had it up here, at Seattle. They did a venue here this one time. And I hope they do that again instead of rather, doing what they did before because a lot of people got to miss out because they didn't want to travel or they didn't have the enhanced license or, they didn't want to spend the money. So it's unfortunate. I do not play Buddy Fight. I used to play White Schwartz. I actually, in 2013, I went to a world qualifier here in Redmond, Washington, and I played Fairy Tale. And I did really well. I got into the top 4. Unfortunately, I scrubbed out to someone who magically decided to beat me with, a couple trial decks put together. So I only made it to top 4. I lost. I used to play White Schwartz, but unfortunately, in English, it's not as far as long as I would like it, and we don't have enough tournaments here for me to play. Or spend my money on, so I'm just kind of keeping tabs on it, or play occasionally with my friends, borrow their decks or something. But as of right now, no. For my avatar, that's a good question. My avatar. I've had several avatars, but the one that pulled out to me the most when I did play it was can't think right now. In terms of my avatar right now, I would have to say Blaster Joker, just because he looks badass. But the reverse unit for Narukami. What's his face? Bowing Sword. Yeah, Bowing Saber was my avatar at one point. I really loved the deck and I loved playing it. Before that, I played Aqua Force, so I really love Maelstrom. I feel like he was my avatar. He was my ace card. I played Maelstrom. I played Glory Maelstrom, so I really like the deck. I kind of have like a jank Aqua Force looking deck that I'm kind of building for fun. So I'm gonna see how it does when I show it off to my friends. But as for your last question, Pepsi or Coke? Well, that's a hard question because I like Coke. I do not like Pepsi, but I do love Mountain Dew and I do love Dr. Pepper. So with Pepsi having two of my drinks that I really like, but not really like Pepsi at all, but I only like Coke and Sprite. Not Sprite as much, but I do like Coke. I'd have to pick Pepsi. Sorry. Just because I like Mountain Dew and I like Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper's my drink. I love Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper's my crack. I can't answer that next question because it's asked which kind of Coke. Well, I do like Coke, so I would have to say Cherry Coke. I really like Cherry Coke, so especially if I mix it with other stuff too. Imagine Jonathan, Legion Rare, Minham coming by. It's a possibility. You switch from SPs to Legion Rares. Good luck with that, because that's a lot of fucking money. But then again, you're Jonathan. You have every copy of every SP so far, so that's pretty amazing. Right, SP Hunter right there. Generation Rare. Jonathan asks if Near Ector gets a Generation Rare. Unfortunately, he will be changing his name to Jonathan G.R. Minham, which is pretty funny. I didn't know if they were gonna make a Generation Rare, but are they making a Generation Rare? I wonder if they are. I'm gonna look that up. As for Legion Rares, the only Legion Rares that I wanted one of ones that I'm gonna be playing, so I do want a Legion Rare of Blaster Joker and Photon. I'm hoping I'll pull one this weekend when I open my 2 boxes, but you never know. Next question comes from Edmund Liu again. He asked, do you think Bushiroad will release anything else after Stride is completely done and released, like how they released Persona Blast then went to Limit Breaks? So Limit Break lasted a long time. So from what I see, it's not really Stride that they're going to be focusing on. It's going to be G-Break. Generation Break is pretty much the new Limit Break. So they're going to focus on that for at least like 6 to 7 sets. So what they do after that, I have no idea because I'm not Bushiroad. I was really surprised by their new generation set, so that tells you how much I think about it. Right now, I just like to focus in the now and maybe the slight future if I know what's coming. So I honestly don't know, but I think they're going to stick with Generation Break and Stride for quite a few sets. Next question is from David, and he asked me why I was hating on him during drafts, and I'm going to say this once, and it was not because I was hating on you, it's because I have an extreme hate and very extreme opinion towards Breaking Street Date. If you don't listen to this video, listen to what I'm saying right now. If you do not understand what Breaking Street Date means, I'm going to explain it right now. Breaking Street Date is extremely illegal. Not extremely illegal like shooting someone, but by breaking Street Date, the shop is pretty much committing a crime against whoever provided them with that product. whether it be Bushiroad, whether it be, um, whoever does MTG, Konami, doesn't matter. They are committing a crime against that company, against whoever provided them that product. Because by breaking street date, you are literally giving your customers, just those customers alone, access to product that isn't released yet. So they can take that product and sell it to whoever they want before anyone else can for an extremely high price and get that price because people are desperate to get them. So every time a shop makes a sale on a certain date, it's when they keep track of it. That's when they start, doing their sales beforehand. If they do it under the table or without their knowledge, they don't get the benefits or the sales and the money from it. So by doing this, by breaking street rate, if the shop is caught, and believe me, if even the tiniest bit of information is leaked that a street date was broken, whoever finds out, Bushiroad or whatever, they will find out who was doing the street date, said they broke street date and they have stuff from street date. They will zone out the possible, who they sent product to in the stores, and then they will hunt them down. And then whoever they find, whoever did it, they lose everything with that company. They will never get a product from them ever again. They will not get, boxes, they will not get sleeves, mats, tournaments, events, nothing. They will lose out everything, and they will lose money, and they will completely be banned from selling that product ever again. So if that answers your question right there, I was not being, in towards you anyway. It was just me trying to explain to not post street rate breaks on a group, because all it does is make people irritated, make people jealous, because we have to wait, but you didn't have to wait. So, that's kind of not fair. And that's just the way it is. Which is why, Jonathan, the moment I tagged him, he deleted your post. Because he specifically said he does not want street date stuff posted anywhere on the group. So I hope that, gives you an idea of why I did that. Alright, next question comes from Neil. How do you feel about players who only play what's meta and once they lose to non-meta decks become so upset that they sell that meta deck and build a new one? I think they need to take their meta deck and shove it up their ass, because in Vanguard it's pretty much 50% luck base and 50% deck building and some skill. So if you play a meta deck and you don't understand that meta deck, and then you lose to a non-meta deck like Rakumo or Great Nature, that's your own fucking fault, because you weren't paying attention to what you're playing against, and you didn't know the mechanics of your own deck nor the mechanics of your opponent's deck. And even if you did, you can't be salty, because this game is luck, and that's just the end. That's period, end of story. If you got cheated, that's different. But if that wasn't involved in any way, just get over it. And if you build a new meta deck because your other one sucked, well, maybe you should have play tested more and decided on a meta deck that you wanted to play, rather than, spend so much money on bullshit. And that's how I feel about that, because it's really dumb. Now, that brings a point to, like, net decking. I net deck. And I use a specific term for net decking. Net decking is mostly considered copying a deck that's online that has won something. I don't copy. I don't legitly plagiarize someone else's deck. That's messed up. And, that just shows that all you're trying to do is win. You're not trying to have fun. You're not trying to be creative, even in the slightest way. I look at Netdecks because I want to know what cards are good and what I can do to build my own deck and tweak it to my liking. Which is why I'm playing Blaster Joker and Garnet Star, which is, oh, hey, you're net decking, you know, the deck from Japan. No, I'm not. Because I'm playing, you know, different things in the deck, and I'm playtesting, and I am playing stands. I don't care what you guys say, I'm playing stands. Might be tweaked a little bit, where I can also include crits, but I am playing stands. I might even play Rainbow, I don't even know. But I will be playing stands, because I feel like it'll add extra pressure to the deck that I'm going to be playing, because I'm also playing Neobiums and Lanthanims. And that's that. Alright, next question. Thoughts on the Fire and Ice Regalia for Genesis by Brandon Riley Burnthorne. You know, I haven't actually looked at this card yet, so I'm going to do that right now while I'm thinking of it. If my computer loads, like, you know, stop being so fucking slow. I'll eat my corn dog. You know, it's been sitting there 30 minutes and it's still warm. Alright. Let's see what this card does. Sorry I'm eating, because I'm really fucking hungry. I just got off work. Y'all can deal. I'm hungry. And I like corn dogs with mustard. I'm guessing it's this one? Yep. Okay. So, Onmyo Regalia Nega Kybochis? Terrible. Soul Blast 6. This unit gets plus 10,000 power and a crit. Till end of turn, if the number of cards in your soul is 2 or less, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone. Well then. Play the Gossip Dude, choose 3 and put them into your soul. Then, if the number of cards in your soul is 10 or more, put the top card of your damage into your damage zone. Why the fuck is this thing self-inflicting damage? This thing's terrible. Simply because you can kill yourself if you fuck up. Now, granted, you know, most Genesis players will pay attention to your soul, because I used to play Genesis. But, Omnio Regalia, I don't like it. Art's cool. I don't like it. Sorry. It's not really a question that relates to the video, but Jimmy Mercer is asking me if I have any overloads for trade. If you're talking about Overlord, like as an Overlord the Great, no. Because I didn't go to the sneak peek, and it's not Friday yet. So, sorry, dude. Even if I did, my locals get priority first, and I'm looking for Blaster Joker, so if I pull the Great, that thing is immediately going to a Blaster Joker. I don't even care. So, it looks like that was all the questions so far. I'm really hungry, so I want to eat. But it doesn't look like I have anything else to answer. Not what it looks like. What else to talk about? Since I've got a little more time before I want to stuff my face. Oh, yes. This Saturday I am going to my locals, and I will be testing, I'll be playing my new Link Joker deck, because I'm 100% sure I'm going to be finishing it when I get my 2 boxes in, my friends, you know, in their boxes and stuff, and we do trades, because that's what we do. Because I'm the only one in the group that's looking for Link Joker. So, and I'm not looking for anything else. So this weekend I will be doing a video on not only my box opening and all my pulls, but I will be doing a video on my entire locals tournament that I'm going to be participating in from my the point of view of my phone. I'm going to have it clipped right in front of me, like a jank video camera point of view thing. and it's gonna be videotaping everything that I do during that tournament. I'll be testing how it works before I do it, and if it doesn't work, then I probably won't do a video. I'll just probably do some like side videos on my phone during the tournament, or videos on whoever won or whatever, which I'm hoping is me. But my locals has a lot of good players, so we'll see what happens with that. And I guess that's it. So thanks for watching. Have a good night. I'm fucking gonna eat now. Peace.